lovely ones. Last week we completed the current situation analysis for our business and marketing plans. So now it's time to look forward. This is the beginning of the real planning stage of our business and marketing plans. You will need your SWOT analysis for reference. Then decide if you want to work this out on paper, maybe in a journal, or if you're going to set up a digital document for yourself. The things we deemed our most important strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats in our current situation analysis are the basis of our goal setting. So for each of those lists you came up with a couple of sessions ago, we're first going to turn them into actionable goals, set objectives, and start to develop some strategies. Starting with our strengths, just look at those top 6 strengths that you've already identified. Now you can choose to build on these strengths or further consolidate them. So for each of the 6 points, you'll start a sentence with either I am going to build on ... or I will consolidate ... You might remember one of the strengths I'm proud of was the professional development I've done on inclusive practices with a focus on the teaching side of my business. So a goal for this strength point is I will consolidate my knowledge of inclusive practices into a teaching studio policy document. And another goal is I will build on my understanding of voice production and gender identities through exploratory performance projects. Generally, one goal for each of your identified strengths is best, but definitely limit it at 2 or you might get overwhelmed and burnt out trying to achieve too many different things. Moving on to weaknesses, and for these points, our goals will be to learn, delegate, research, or otherwise improve. My particular health issues means I have the goal of learning to keep a strict schedule that includes a good amount of personal time. Perhaps there's a business skill you are particularly lacking in and have no intention of improving. That's a great time to set the goals of I will delegate, insert whatever the thing is you want someone else to do. Make a goal for each point and then we'll move along. We'll skip forward to threats simply because I like to finish with the positivity of opportunities for this section of work. Remember, threats are generally things over which we don't have a lot of control. So our goals are going to include words like investigate, analyze, and reach out. For example, I need to reach out to rebuild my networks in various areas of the country where I no longer know artists living or working, but still want to work myself. I used to know a lot of musicians around Canberra. A few of them moved away over the last 5 years, but the last 18 months happened and I suddenly know just one person living there. I need to investigate which festivals might be a good fit for me now that we're starting to open up again after COVID and finally hitting some vaccination targets. Do this for each threat point and you've set yourself another half a dozen goals. Now, opportunities. You'll remember I said to include a few extra on this list, so you'll likely have 8 or 9 points to turn into goals. You've already set about 18 goals with your previous points, so you'll probably find this even easier. If there's a funding opportunity, you need to apply for it. If there's a sponsorship deal you want, you need to develop the pitch to that company. Apply, develop, register, initiate, establish. These are the kinds of words we want to see in opportunity goals. All being well, you should have somewhere around 30 goals on your list now. What we're going to do next is give them a time frame. If it's a long-term goal, like a university degree, give it 3 to 5 years. If it involves travel to a country that hasn't fully opened up after COVID restrictions, you'll want to give it maybe 2 years. Anything you're fully committed to making happen in the next 12 months, write it down. Is there anything you're committed to making happen within the next month or 2? Make note of that. Next, we're going to reorganize that list of goals into categories and in order of when we intend to complete. The first category is your creative goals. This is where you'll have the goals directly related to your creative practice that may not have any set business outcome. So my goal of exploratory projects fits in here. I also want to challenge myself to do more composition and arranging that doesn't have a strict relationship to my arts business yet. But it's important to me as a creative person to do this work. Anything like that, it belongs in your creative goals list. For the business related goals, we're going to divide them into the 6 P's: product, price, place, promotions, positioning, and people. Updating my teaching policy document to reflect what I now understand as inclusive practices will reinforce my positioning. So that's where that goal goes. Are you working on a new pricing schedule? You know where it belongs. Any projects that involve your existing network or expanding it? People goals. Same goes for any delegation. That's a people goal because someone will have to do the work. If a goal covers a couple of areas, choose the one it's most relevant to. You might have an area with only one goal or no goals, and that's fine. It could reflect a particular strength you have, or it might show you where you'll focus more energy next time you review your plans. Now I've got a list of goals divided into their most relevant focus area, the ones that you're going to complete first at the top of the list, with your estimated time frame for each. Great. Now it's time to set objectives and the beginnings of some strategies. Going back to my goal of an updated teaching policy document. This is something I'm committed to doing within the next month or 2. I generally take January off teaching, returning in the first full week of February. So I want this document to be finished and visible on my website by the end of January. So I take out my calendar and I see that Friday the 28th of January is the latest date I want this to be live on the website. Okay, build in some buffer time. My objective is to publish the finalised policy document on my website on Friday, January 21st. It is an event in my calendar. What are the things I need to accomplish between now and January 21st to make that happen? Well, I need to gather my relevant notes, actually write the policy document, review and redraft it before I get it proofread and edited. Then I need to have it formatted appropriately for my website, uploaded and launch. So I'm going to gather notes and do my first draft on Monday morning, January 3rd. Again, this is an actual event in my calendar. My first review and redraft is scheduled for an hour session on Thursday, January 6th. The second redraft session will be 1 hour on Monday morning, the 10th of January. Then I will send it out to my trusted people to proofread it and give me notes during the week. I know they'll get back to me quickly because I've booked them in to help me already. You can do that when it's scheduled in. On Friday, the 14th of January, I will gather those notes and incorporate them into my final draft. I will get a second opinion, do final edits and formatting, all finished by end of day, Monday, January 17th. It's in the calendar, but I've got 4 days buffer between finishing the document ready to be published on the website before my desired launch date, Friday, January 21st, if I need more time. That launch date also gives me a week to fix any bugs during that last week of January if something does go wrong, without my students being affected. My goal became a set of objectives so I could schedule in the strategy for getting it done. If you've got a university degree or something like that on your list, when do you need to have your application in? When will the semester start? Do you have to pay fees? When are they due? What months will be focused on exams or final assignments? Put as much as you can in your calendar as soon as possible, and you'll be able to work other things around it with the least amount of stress. If it's a long-term goal, you may not be able to schedule in everything for the next 3 to 5 years, but you can probably get the next 3 to 6 months as a start. And let's face it, actually starting is often the hardest part. Now, what about those goals that don't have an end point? How can we turn those into objectives? A good way is to set up an activity or a range of activities and a frequency you're committed to. Let's take a common example. Most of us creative types get our inspiration from a variety of sources, and we really like to see what other artists are doing. So, going to see concerts, shows, exhibitions, and the like is a definite must-do on our goals list. What does vary is how often we can do this. So let's say your goal turns into the objective to see 100 examples of artistic work presented over the next year. That works out at 8 to 9 each month, or about 2 every week. Is that realistically achievable for you? If you've got a lot of commitments, it might be more realistic to put the number at 50 or even 25. If you're on a tight budget, you might want to make the number a lot smaller, but focus on seeing high quality stuff that really interests and inspires you. Maybe you'll see 2 or 3 high ticket price items this year and as many free events as you can manage. And if you can manage 100 events, do you live in a place where there are actually that many to attend? Or do you have to get creative about how you'll do it? Sit down and listen purposefully to a whole album of music online with no interruptions or distractions. Order the book of an exhibition that you thought looked interesting but was in a different country, so you couldn't go. I follow YouTube channels of several museums and art galleries, so I get occasional tours and live streams that way for free. Social media used wisely can definitely help in your goal to see more art, but if you find you can't focus, get out of there fast. Also, as we're heading into the holiday season, don't be scared to ask for tickets or vouchers instead of things from your loved ones. One year, while I was an undergraduate, I was gifted a season ticket for the Tasmanian Symphony Orchestra, and it was just amazing. Imagine if your family and friends pooled resources to help you achieve a goal. Maybe you'll get a free babysitting session so you can go out and see some grown-up art without the kids. There are all sorts of ways to make a goal work. Just make sure it's realistic for you and your situation. Set the objective. Book in some things as soon as possible and ask for help where it's appropriate. It's all part of the strategy to meet the objectives necessary for achieving your goal. Did you set a goal of presenting your art at a particular venue? This might be a 1-year goal or a longer term goal, depending on the venue. For example, the Moona Arts Centre has multiple programs running and expressions of interest for those close at different times through the year. They are a smaller, community-focused venue, and there are options for single shows as well as longer runs. The higher costs aren't astronomical, so even if I couldn't get involved in an established program, I could potentially run my own show at the Moona Arts Centre within the next year. On the other hand, the Theatre Royal has no expression of interest programs. They require hiring the venue plus all your crew, and they only do limited promotions for events. So it's a lot of work to put on a show there. To make a successful show happen at the Theatre Royal would require more money, time, and energy than I have to spare at the moment. But I could make it a 3 to 5 year goal if it's something really important to me. Want to do a bookkeeping course? Find one in your local area or an appropriate online course and book it in. Get those dates in your calendar. Want to enter some competitions? Find out the submission dates and put them into your calendar. Want to work with particular people? Set up a meeting with them to discuss potential projects and put it in your calendar. If you want to develop your project idea more before asking others to get involved, set up some solo sessions and a deadline for when you're going to finish your private planning and put it all in your calendar. Get things in your calendar for as much as is reasonable for you and your situation. Remember, working towards your goals requires time and energy and often a bit of money. So balance it with what you need to do to maintain your current work and income, as well as the things that are important in your personal life. It's better to build slowly on solid foundations than to burn out and give up before you really achieve anything. All those goals you have for the coming year, some of them are only going to take a few days or weeks of actual work. Spread those out over the year so you're not trying to work on everything at once. Leave some wiggle room in your schedule so you've got time to regroup, fix bugs, or if unexpected opportunities arise, you can say yes with confidence. And leave space in your schedule for non-work things. You'll need to fit in trips to the dentist or unexpected plumbing emergencies or just spending time on things you enjoy with people you love. I hope you found this useful. Please share in the comments the goals you're most excited about for the year ahead. Give the video a thumbs up if you've already got something in your calendar that will help you achieve your goals. If you'd like to continue growing your creative business or simply follow me on the journey, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified as new videos come out. See you next time!